Girbeagly!
Hey there guys and gals, it's Girbeagly with another episode of Gaming with Girbeagly, and I'm once again playing the game Either.io or Would You Rather, and it's the game where I get to answer all the hard questions so that you guys don't have to. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the first question. Would you rather be a rock star or a movie star? Now, this one's going to be kind of hard for me because I've always loved both things. I love music and I love movies so much. I really love acting. In high school, I got very into acting, and it was one of my favorite things to do. I was part of musicals, I was part of anything that involved acting. I do like sort of comedy skits with my friends or improv stuff, and it was just so fun and I loved it. I really loved Whose Line Is It Anyway because, you know, those guys were just coming up with humor on the fly and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. But I also have always loved music, and as you guys know, I've actually lived the musician life for a little bit. I got to be part of a number of bands and musical projects and got to travel the states just doing dumb stuff with my friends, and it was really cool. And even though we weren't like giant rock stars or anything like that, we were just sort of local dumb bands with a bunch of just friends watching us most of the time. It was still a lot of fun, and I still got enough of the experience that I would love to try to be a movie star, and I would love to get into acting. So that's what I'm going to pick for this one. Alright, and it looks like 67% of people agree with me. They'd rather be a movie star, which I think would be really cool. I'd love to try out my acting chops in a movie or a TV show. That'd just be really awesome to be able to do that and like bounce dialogue off of other people. Like I said, I haven't done that since high school, really. I did a little bit in college, just goofing around with people, did some like student film type stuff, but I'd really like to get back into it at some point, maybe go to an audition or something. I'd love to do that in like New York City or LA. So movie studios, if you're casting Asian dudes, I'm your guy. Would you rather watch Are You Afraid of the Dark or read Goosebumps? Oh man, this one's going to be tough because I loved both of them growing up. I watched Are You Afraid of the Dark, and for those of you who don't know what that was, it was a 90s show that was from Canada, that aired in Canada and the US, and it was these short horror stories that were just so freaking spooky, especially at the time. But going back as an adult and watching some of them, yes, some of them are corny as hell, but a lot of them are still really creepy. A lot of them are very dark and have some sort of like more mature horror elements to them, and they're really good. Like, I've actually gone back and watched an episode or two since then, and it still holds up for the most part. On the other hand, Goosebumps books are really good, and I love what reading entails. You know, it makes it so that you have to use your imagination and you get into the story and you get involved, but at the same time, I don't have like a ton of time to sit down and read books anymore, so I'd probably have to say watch Are You Afraid of the Dark. It's a lot easier for me to like just binge through a couple episodes as opposed to reading, you know, a book series or something like that. On that note, I actually still have all my Goosebumps books at my parents' house, and I have to grab those and bring them to my apartment at some point, but goddamn, those are some classics. Oh, and it's like neck and neck. It looks like 42% of people would rather watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, and 58% of people would rather read Goosebumps. That's like really hard to gauge because they're both so fun and goofy, and also genuinely chilling at times. Would you rather own a pet snake or own a pet turtle? Alright, so here's something that you guys probably don't know, but Morgan is a big snake fan. She's actually always wanted to own a snake. She tried to convince me to get a snake earlier when we were dating, and it's something that's still up, you know, on the table. It's something that if we get like a house or a bigger apartment, we might own a snake at some point. Obviously, it's not going to be like loose and going all over the place. The cats would fight it, or it might try to eat one of our cats or something like that. Something awful and horrible. Pets on pet violence is just like very common across species, unfortunately, so we'd have to keep them separated. But a pet snake, it's a possibility. I, on the other hand, am not a huge snake fan. I had friends with snakes when I was a kid, and they were kind of cool for a little bit, and I was like, it's just a snake. It's kind of dumb. On the other hand, a turtle is also kind of dumb because it just sits there. You know, it hangs out. When it gets scared, it goes in its shell, or if it wants to sleep, it goes in its shell. You can't exactly race turtles. It's just, they're not that fun. Although, like, little baby turtles, I remember when I was a kid, in one of my classes, we had baby turtles, and we got to, like, put them, like, in a box and watch them, like, swim around and stuff like that, and it was really cute and really cool. I forgot which class that was, but it was a neat class. But turtles are kind of boring, too. It's just, I don't know. Both of those are pretty boring, but if I had to pick one, I guess turtles creep me out less, so I'd go with them. And it looks like 69% of people would rather have a turtle as well, so sorry Morgan, it doesn't look like we're getting a snake. Would you rather be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of your life and be able to have children? Ooh. Or be able to walk but unable to have children? Okay, so this is going to touch on something that I talked about last episode, which is I don't even know if I want kids, and Morgan doesn't know if she wants kids. We're both at this stage in our life where it'd be very irresponsible for us to have kids, and even if we want them down the line, if something happened where we were told you can't have kids, it's not a world-ending deal breaker for us. We're not going to be like, oh shit, we can't ever reproduce and make a person with this other person. It's something that, you know, we can always adopt. We can adopt, we can, you know, be foster family, anything like that. Like, if we really want the joy of children in our life, there are options besides having them ourselves. So I'd rather be able to walk around and not be confined to a wheelchair, just because being confined to a wheelchair, it would mean an entirely new lifestyle for me. I'd have to learn so much. I'd have to relearn how to do simple tasks that I probably take for granted right now, and it would just be a really big hassle for me, unfortunately. So I would rather actually be able to walk still and just not have kids, which is something that I'm not even sure about anyway. So let's go ahead and click that one, and it looks like 64 people would rather walk and go, whatever, screw it, I don't need any lineage. Would you rather be awake during spine surgery and hear the bones crunching, or be awake when they twisted an extremely broken arm back into place? Oh man, both of those sound so wonderful. Personally, I'm not a very big needle guy. As many of you know, my biggest phobia in the entire world is needles. I'm not afraid of sharks, I'm not afraid of heights, I'm not afraid of deep water, I'm not afraid of guns, I'm not afraid of a lot of things, but for whatever reason, needles are like my biggest phobia, and there is no way in hell that I would want to be awake during spine surgery. It wouldn't be the bones crunching that would get to me, it would be all the freaking needles that would be like in my back and stabbing around and, you know, scalping up everything back there. Oh man, I can't even handle the thought of it. It's really creeping me out already. But being awake while having an extremely broken arm, twisted back into place, I'm assuming either of them I would get some sort of anesthesia or some sort of painkiller, and that would be great. I would be fine. I've been in the ER before when they've fixed, you know, broken things. It's okay. It's something that can happen that I would be alright with, and I wouldn't freak out and have a panic attack like I would with the spine surgery. So I would much rather have my arm twisted back into place. And it looks like 70% of people are there with me, so yay, go team broken arm. Would you rather face a zombie attack or face a shark attack? Now this brings up a very important question to me because, first of all, when they mean zombie attack, does that mean a single zombie comes after me? And when they mean shark attack, does that mean a single shark comes after me? Because in those particular cases, I have played enough video games and watched enough of The Walking Dead and zombie flicks that I think I'm pretty well equipped to take down a zombie. I could definitely bash that thing in the head and take it out. A shark, on the other hand, you're in their territory, man. You're in deep water, you can't see your feet, there's nothing to like hold on to and hold your ground on. That thing can just come up from under you and just rip the shit out of you. It's definitely not something I'd want to mess with, so I'd definitely go with zombie attack in that case. However, if they mean like a whole bunch of zombies and just one shark, then it's a little bit different because a lot of zombies at once, multiple targets, that's tough stuff. That's really hardcore. However, I still think that I would rather take my chances with zombies because they're just mindless, shambling corpses most of the time. Unless you're talking about, like, Dawn of the Dead remake where they're, like, super extra fast parkour zombies, which doesn't make any sense to me. But zombies that are just the dumb shambly type, I'd rather take a chance with those because they're stupid, whereas sharks are designed to kill. They are just millions of years of evolution designed to rip shit to shreds, and that's terrifying to me. So I would rather take my chances and use my video game knowledge to fight zombies, and so would 73% of other people who watch The Walking Dead. Would you rather always wear clothes you like but everyone else hates, or always wear clothes you hate but everyone else loves? Here's something that definitely comes down to social perception and how much you give a shit about it. Because some people, it's really, really important for them to look spiffy and nice for everybody around them. They want to be oohed and awed at, and even if they don't like the image that they're portraying within themselves, they would rather have that instant validation from other people than actually be true to themselves. For me, it's always been the opposite. I'm someone who, yes, at a time in my life, I sought validation quite a bit. However, now I'm old as shit, and I don't care. I don't care anymore as much about people trying to validate me and have it reflect on my self-worth. I personally am one of those people who goes out on a limb and does some stupid shit now and then, or says dumb things or things that might be controversial because it's how I actually feel. It's never put on for a show. It's never something that is, I'm like, oh man, how's this gonna affect my reputation? All the cool kids are gonna hate me now. It's never really been like that. I've been someone who went through a lot of bullying when I was a kid, so having others' approval never really was there to begin with up until I got older. And then as I got older, I was like, holy shit, this is overrated. I don't care. You know, if I was unhappy with something and I just did it so that other people liked it, that's on me if I feel empty afterwards. And that's really stinky of me to not fess up to who I really am. And like I said, as I've gotten older, it's something that sort of comes with age and experience, and I now feel very confident in who I am as a person for the most part. Obviously, everyone has self-doubts, and I get stuck in my own head, and I'm like, oh man, maybe I should do this so, you know, more people think I'm nice or something. I don't know. But honestly, I'm just me. And I'm okay wearing what I want to wear, and that goes beyond my clothing. That's just everything I say and everything I do. I just would rather be me. So 55% of people agree with me. It's split right down the middle. I'm going to assume that most people looking for that that validation from other people are a little bit younger, like I said, maybe haven't seen as much of the world, and you know, you still want to sit at the cool kids table in the lunchroom or something. I don't know. God, I have been a rambly-pambly this freaking episode. Both are made very public. So would you rather sue a charity organization and win, or sue a corrupt organization and lose? Okay, this one is a no-brainer for me. As you guys know, I'm very, very, very much into charity stuff. In fact, for those of you guys who missed last video, I'm currently in the midst of the St. Jude Play Live charity event. So for the next month and a half, I'm going to be streaming over on Twitch a lot. So guys, keep an eye out for those so that we can raise some money for St. Jude charity and fight childhood cancer. Nice little plug there, of course. But I would never do anything. I would never raise my hand against a charity organization. I don't care if I lose money against a corrupt organization, especially if it's public. The fact that I took on the corrupt organization and called it out for its bullshit, I think I would gain more respect doing that, and people would just rally to my aid. Than I would rather do that. I would much rather do that than ever win against a charity organization, much less just sue them at all. That's just horrible. Why would you ever do that to a charity organization? Now, if it was a corrupt charity organization, you know, you always hear those horror stories of charity organizations that take the funds and they use them 90% for themselves and give 10% to the people in need. That's shitty. And then in that case, obviously, I would rather win against them. But in the case of a true blue charity organization and a true blue corrupt organization, I would rather take down the corrupt organization, even, in a PR sense. Publicly, everyone now knows that they're corrupt, or at least knows I think they're corrupt. All of my supporters would rally and go, that guy's corrupt, we're not going to support his stinky business, and they wouldn't support that corrupt organization anymore. And even if I lost, that's fine. The money's not the important part. Part of it is the image, and from there, it just, the idea spreads. That's what's important. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one. And it's 50-50 right down the middle? Holy shit. Some of you guys need a fucking heart. And on that one, guys, I'm going to end this episode. God damn, did I talk a lot. And I'm sorry if I rambled your ears off, but I love these types of things where I get to, sort of play devil's advocate with myself and pull apart my own answers so that you guys know exactly how I think and just who I am as a person. Like I said, I like these because they're sort of like impromptu Q&As. And speaking of Q&As, I will be bringing back the Ask Girbeagly Q&A series sometime this week. I promise I'm going to do my best to bring it back. So look out for a video where you can use the hashtag AskBeagly, or you can do it even in this video, do an Ask Beagly question, and I will put it in my newest video. Once again, I can't get to every single question, but I will do my best to, and that's just another thing that you guys can look forward to. But anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I certainly did. If you did, please be sure to hit the like button, share the video, and favorite it. Also, be sure to subscribe to me if you guys haven't already. For those of you who have, thank you so much for all of your support. You guys are the best in the world. I love every single one of you, and as always, it was great seeing ya. Bye-bye.